7. Stuttgart are second in the Bundesliga, and Celta Vigo is still in the top 5 in La Liga in Spain. Impressive scalps to reach the last 4 of this competition. They can't wait, nor can we. Let's remind ourselves of the two teams. Celtic, one player short of full strength. Only Chris Sutton, had he been available, would have made Martin O'Neill change this selection. Rob Douglas back in goal. Joos Valgaeren returns to the defence, and Didier Agathe is restored at right wing back after playing just 70 minutes for the under-21s on Monday night.
It's a very strong Celtic team, no question about that. It's so important to have Rob Douglas back and Joos Valgaeren, but the real bonus for the Celtic fans has got to be Didier Agathe. He's maybe not 100% fit, but he's so important to Celtic down that right hand side, especially here at Celtic Park. He creates and scores so many goals. That's a real bonus for them tonight.
Not a lot of well-known names in this Boavista side, but it does look to be a team packed with defenders and defensive midfield players as well. Striker Silva is noticeable by his absence, but there are 5 of his fellow Brazilians in this starting 11.
Well, it'll be interesting, Rob, just to see how Boavista line up. We believe they're going to play 4-4-2. Very strong at the back with the Brazilian pairing of number 5 Didier and number 4 Tura. And it's running at the striking pair. The two that are looking for a vital away goal tonight are also from Brazil. Number 26 Claudio and number 8 Duda.
It's a big boost to Celtic to have Didier Agathe back on that right flank, and such is his fitness that he's pitched in right from the start, and he is sometimes seemed to save his best for these European nights. Rob Douglas has played only 6 games for Celtic in 2003, and listen to this: 2 against Stuttgart, 2 against Liverpool, and 2 against Rangers. When the big games are on, he's around. And his opposite number is the goalkeeper, the captain, the star man for Boavista, Portuguese international, and in the penalty shootout against Malaga in the quarter-finals, he didn't just save one, he scored one as well. The referee is from Belgium, Frank de Blekeren, a man who's already handled Champions League matches involving British teams this season. Fasten your seatbelts. Celtic unbeaten in European ties on their home patch since August 2001. That was against Ajax. In a tie, of course, they've already pretty much won with a 3-1 win in Amsterdam. Since then, Porto and Rosenborg and Juventus and Valencia and Basel and Segunda, Blackburn, Celta Vigo, Stuttgart and Liverpool have all been here, and none of them have managed to record a win. It's a terrific record. Can Celtic keep it up? Stilian Petrov and Thompson. He's another big match player for Celtic, and he's produced some big match goals for them this season. Long from Mjallby for Hartson, and it's the first free kick of the match as the Boavista defence struggle to cope with the Welsh international striker.
It's the first high ball into John Hartson. I'm just watching the early start from the Portuguese, Rob. I think they're going to play 5 across the back. It was number 3 Avalos there who committed the free kick against John Hartson, so they're certainly going to try and keep it tight at the back, especially early on.
Welcome to Glasgow, stays John Hartson. It's Henrik Larsson, it's into the wall. Chased by Duda, but across goes Neil Lennon. Although he won't catch that.
He's such an important player for Celtic. Often not recognised the amount of work he does tidying up in front of the back 3.
Neil Lennon's not been booked in this European campaign, and considering the way he plays, that's got to be a surprise, and it's going to be an achievement as well. Hartson wanted too long the ball. He was robbed of possession, and as he tugged at Pedrosa's shirts, it's a free kick for the Portuguese team, who are 10th in their National League table. Jamie Pacheco's side 40 points behind the leaders, Porto, who of course in the other semi-final. Balde, beaten in the air, that's not too often that happens. Celtic have the free kick quickly taken. The legendary number 96 on the back of Anunci Sao. Goes Hartson, and full-blooded was the challenge.
Well, it's John Hartson being aggressive again, isn't it? He's a sandwich between the two yellow jerseys there.
It was Anunci Sao and Avalos, the two players who went for it for Boavista, Sandy, and they thought 2 against 1 would win, but it didn't.
Avalos is actually doing a man-marking job on John Hartson. And then Sisseo coming back into the play there. He'll be sorry what back the way that Rob's got so on because of that.
Balde with the free kick. Confusion in the Boavista defence. To Douglas, and into Sao back on the pitch, having received some attention. And number 3 is Avalos, who runs that one back to his goalkeeper Ricardo, 13 times capped by the Portuguese national team. Big Phil is the coach there, of course, these days, and it seems Ricardo is his first choice. Johan Mjallby's clearance, out for 4 months this season. Celtic happy to have him back, such a key figure in the 3-man rear guard. Number 19 is Mario Locha, the left back. Picks out one of the Brazilians, Duda, with the throw. Celtic fans didn't think he'd kept that in, and the decision went his way. Neil Lennon's header. Didier Agathe was trying to get on the end of it. Paul Lambert did. Now Agathe from Hartson. Good pass, good run from Henrik Larsson. We'll have to hold it up. And gets the throw off header.
Great pass from Didier Agathe down that right-hand side. Great run again from Henrik Larsson.
Petrov and Lennon. Now Balde. Got the pass he wanted, a little bit over elaborate there, Bobo Balde. But makes up for it, and winning the ball back for Celtic. Thompson looking for Hartson, and there's the man in the mask who wins it for Boavista. You've heard of the mask of Zorro, well that's the mask of Tura. Tura, the Brazilian central defender, with some interesting headgear to protect his broken nose. Hartson, Henrik Larsson, delicately chipped through for Stilian Petrov. I was wondering if he was going to have a crack at goal there. He seemed to be in a great position.
It was time for a hit, Rob, no question. It's a tight pass. You watch Henrik Larsson picking the ball up here. He would normally have a shot. There's no space for Stilian Petrov to try to run into there. I'm sure Henrik now would have preferred to the option of a shot.
Valgaeren looked to be distracted. Celtic play on. This is a hard-working Boavista side. You can see that already. They're chasing around the pitch, trying to shut Celtic down, but that's a bad miss from Avalos. Hartson puts it through. Henrik Larsson had a chance, but the angle was acute, and Ricardo blocked his way.
Great play from John Hartson, great first touch, sees the pass, Henrik Larsson is onto it, it's just too tight for him, Rob, he just can't get enough on the ball to get it back towards goal. But great touch from John Hartson, great awareness. And Larsson's unfortunate, tries to chip the goalkeeper, just couldn't wrap his foot around it.
Up went Joos Valgaeren to win the header. Petrov, Lennon, Lambert, lovely little triangle of passes. And now is the Bulgarian Petrov with Larsson supplying some width. And the cross blocked by Tura.
Stilian Petrov's not too happy, he feels he was obstructed there just as he was playing that pass.
Lambert flicks it through for Agathe. Lovely bit of skill from the Scotland captain. Was there a handball there? The Celtic fans will need some convincing that there wasn't.
There's definitely a touch, there's no question. I'm sure it's accidental, but there's no doubt Didier Agathe got an opportunity here if the ball isn't touched by hand.
It was Untitled who jumped on the ball reared up, and there was the contact with his right arm.
That looks deliberate for me.
And the referee, as you see from the picture there, had a good view. He saw the handball, and that should have been a penalty. That's why there was the immediate outcry from the Celtic supporters in that corner, and the immediate outcry as well from the Celtic players who surrounded Frank de Blakeren.
It's a handball, Rob, and it was deliberate for me. So it should have been a penalty kick, no question about it.
Lambert, heavily involved in these opening stages, very creative, very constructive. Alan Thompson with 3 UEFA Cup goals already in this campaign. Who will forget the free kick against Liverpool? Who will forget the diving header in Stuttgart? But some respite for under pressure Boavista, as well, Frank de Blakeren maybe isn't reflecting on it, but we are.
That's deliberate, Rob. He stopped the ball going to Didier Agathe. It's hand to ball, and if that happens, it's a penalty kick. The assistant referee on the far side, he's only yards away from it as well, and they both get a very, very good view of that.
Mjallby attacking the ball so well. Balde, and the referee not conned by the dive of Luis Claudio. And Untitled, the lucky man who got away with that handball in his own penalty box. Calm defending from Balde. Mjallby's pass not too hot. Eddie Van is number 6, another of the Brazilians. Left back or left midfield, his customary positions. Neil Lennon with a brave header because there was a high boot from Duda. Don't worry, we won't do the song. Thompson looking for Hartson, and at full stretch was Eder, and hooked away by Mario Losha. The Celtic captain Lambert. John Hartson always a target. Lennon's pass deflected away, but it did find its way through to Agathe. It was a wild lunge at Paul Lambert, and pretty stern warning here.
It's very, very late. It's a high boot. Walsh, I think it is, playing the left wing back area. Paul Lambert seen it come and jumped high enough to make sure there was no contact made.
Minutes gone. Lambert's free kick. Hartson's flick. Was that a handball? Henrik Larsson appeals again. The reaction is the same from the Belgian ref.
No question, Henrik Larsson thought it was a penalty kick.
Now Duda streaking forwards for the Portuguese. Pedrosa. Martelinho. That's a good challenge. So well timed by Alan Thompson. Waited his moment, then pounced. But, well, we'll have a look at the second penalty claim right now. Was it or wasn't it?
Henrik Larsson tries to play it back. That's another penalty kick. It's just round about his elbow area, but again it's arm to ball, and as soon as that makes it deliberate.
And yet again, Frank de Blakeren was about, well, less than 10 yards away to make his ruling.
There's no excuse for that at all.
Good pressure from Celtic in the first 12 minutes and 2 penalty claims already.
I tell you where it's coming from, Rob. John Hartson's had a great start to the match. When the ball's played up high to that man there, he's winning almost every header inside that box.
That's a lovely touch from Larsson. Gets it back from Hartson. He's kept out by Martelinho, but the pressure stays on with Lennon and Lambert. They've got that stranglehold in the middle, and they will be reluctant to let go. Thompson fires it to the feet of Larsson. Celtic playing with a lot of confidence. Good step over from Larsson, but Petrov not on the same wavelength. Valgaeren has to hurry under pressure from Luis Claudio, the tall Brazilian. It's little and large up front with Claudio and Duda. Celtic looking for the goal that their early pressure merits. Alan Thompson overran that. Now Duda. Luis Claudio with some room in which to operate, but the shot was well off target. He scored the equaliser against Malaga in the quarter-final, Luis Claudio, but he was never going to find the net here.
He's got a bit of space there, Rob, but Rab doesn't seem to be happy with that. Hit a shot from 30 yards or so. If Rab doesn't save it, you'd be disappointed. The Celtic have started well. The Portuguese are playing free at the back, so they have to be aware of the second ball. When Hartson wins it, Henrik Larsson's got to try and make sure he picks up the second one.
14 minutes on the clock, no free kick. Despite the theatrical fall by Duda. I think Neil Lennon was all set for his protest at the free kick being given when he realised it wasn't.
That decision certainly went in Celtic's favour, with the 2 penalty kick claims. They certainly went against them.
That's good play from Petrov, aggressive in the midfield. But Petrov jumped out of that one. Won by Avalos. Thompson, a probing ball towards Larsson. Agathe powering to the byline, and beyond the byline sadly. But he's a big problem for Boavista.
He's so quick, Bob. It's hard to defend against, especially when he gets the ball in the wide area and there's grass in front of him. Just knock the ball and run. Unfortunately that time, Lanning will be disappointed, didn't quite get to the ball before it ran out.
Martin O'Neill, of course, a European Cup winner himself in 1980 for Nottingham Forest against Hamburg. This is 30th European tie as Celtic manager. Martelinho steps away from Thompson's challenge. Pedrosa. It was ambitious, but it would have Rob Douglas scrambling across.
I don't think McGrath would have missed this one. I think it's going by the post anyway, but McGrath just making sure.
That's a great play from Joe Hartson, seeing the option of pulling that down on his chest. Number 5 is Eder. Duda's layoff, Lennon's there for Celtic, plays it back to Valgaeren, now Thompson, slick stuff from Celtic. Larsson, Petrov, just about every player involved there in the build-up until the final ball went astray. Great challenge from Lambert, which rescued Celtic with Boavista counter-attacking. Control from Hartson, turning into trouble though. Luis Claudio and Duda looking for it. Eddie Van still going. The layoff for Duda, deflected and wide.
That was a chance. Duda is disappointed. Good play down the left hand side. Erevan getting the better Johan Mjallby. It's a good set up and good block for Bobo Balde. Shows the class of the Portuguese when they go forward. Good break.
And you just wondered where that ball was going when it took its deflection. It went behind the first corner kick for Boavista. In from Pedrosa, and Douglas under real pressure there. Luis Claudio attacking the ball at the near post.
I'm not sure if the referee's given a free kick here. The big grab made hard work of that one. That should have been a corner kick. There's no touch at all from the big striker.
I think Rob gives him a pat on the back that says, I don't know why that was given my way. It was a great delivery from the corner.
He's a big lad too, Claudio.
Martelinho. Good challenge, Petrov. Stilian Petrov, one of a couple of Celtic starters here on 2 yellows. One more and he misses the next game. Strong play from Balde. Larsson, Hartson offside.
That was a chance. John Hartson couldn't get back onside. Good play from Henrik Larsson, but John Hartson he's got to take a step back. He's got to get back beside the Portuguese last line of defence. Then he's onside. Then he's got the advantage. Just couldn't get there quick enough that time.
I think he was hoping there that Larsson would take the ball on himself, Sandy.
Yeah, caught him a little bit of a surprise.
Balde's header. And Pedrosa's shot, well off target. Alec McLeish and Jan Wouters alongside him, taking in the Celtic Park action after last night, making it through to the semi-finals of the Tennant Scottish Cup, and of course 8 points ahead of Celtic in the Bank of Scotland Premier League. Martelino's pass, and Valgaeren escorts it back to Douglas. Seems to be in a bit of trouble, Joos Valgaeren. I don't know whether his finger stuck in the ground as he slid in there, but looked a bit anxious and still does. Good exchange between Agathe and Lambert. Now Balde. Larsson's layoff. Petrov and Ricardo watched it go wide.
Good play from Celtic, good build-up. Stilian Petrov might have tried to have a look at John Hartson there, try and play him through. Elected to have the shot from 25 yards. Got to get it on target, got to get the goalkeeper working.
Balde, good touch, and then thumps it out. Let's hear from Chick in the technical area.
Just what you picked up on there, Rob. Valgaeren is struggling with it. I think someone stood on his finger, and Brian Scott has been out the dugout getting perhaps a little treatment ready. I don't think it's going to stop Valgaeren's progress in the match, but he is toiling with a really badly injured finger, and Brian Scott is stand by to do something about it.
It's that left hand that he was hiding behind his back there, Valgaeren. And it will take a lot of success to keep Valgaeren out of the action here. It looked at one point when he was injured playing for Belgium that he might be out till the end of the season, but he's come back very quickly from that injury, and you can see some blood there in his little finger of that left hand. Balde all the way through to Larsson. Didier Agathe off and running. It's not going to go out, and Eder had to play it. Celtic force a corner.
Good play from Didier Agathe. Didn't give that one up. Persevered. eventually put the Portuguese under lots of pressure at the back and earned the corner kick.
Celtic's first corner kick after 22 minutes, and the chance for Mjallby and Balde and Valgaeren to get forward. Thompson's left foot. John Hartson was reaching for the header. Ricardo missed it. Kept in by Balde.
That's a goal. Why does the referee give that one? The two previous ones inside the box he doesn't give.
He seemed to see this one clearly enough.
It may have been a free kick against Bobo Balde there, but that's exactly the same. It's an empty ball again. Frustrating.
And Ricardo looked less than clever on the corner kick a moment ago.
I think he got a touch to Rob just in time the last time John Hartson was going to knock it in.
In for Alan Thompson, and no challenge on the Boavista keeper.
That's a poor delivery from Alan Thompson. Too easy for the goalkeeper. He's got to entice him, he's got to pull him out his area.
Paul Lambert watched it all the way. Martelinho heads it infield to Pedrosa. Tura. Good running, good movement up front from Luis Claudio. Well won by Lennon. Duda's back heel. Martelinho's cross. And a gap to clear it. Erivan on the ball. Mario Losha. Off Lambert and out.
It's important, Rob, that Celtic concentrate at the back tonight. Boavista look a dangerous team when they get forward. That man there, Pedrosa, he's had one or two shots from well out.
Luis Claudio, great turn. Duda takes a tumble. And the shot well wide from Sao.
That was another opportunity. It's far out again. Sao just striking at it. Doesn't catch it at all, left foot. As I say, the two strikers, Claudio and Duda, they're a handful.
Free kick against John Hartson. The referee at close quarters to make that decision. Hartson with 24 goals this season, 3 UEFA Cup goals, and 2 big ones, of course, against Celta Vigo and Liverpool. It's been a highly successful campaign so far for Celtic, and they desperately want it to continue on to Seville next month. Once you get to this stage, why not just go on and win it?
That's a good decision from the referee that time. Avalos had a swipe at John Hartson just before the throw-in was taken.
Bobo Balde heads up to the edge of the area. He's the target for Thompson. Won the header, but couldn't really direct it on goal. Joos Valgaeren has been off the pitch to get some treatment to that hand problem. Man of the match number 0910 225. You could win a new Game Boy SP, which is apparently all the rage, if your man of the match agrees with Sandy's later. Larsson, Lambert, Valgaeren, Thompson. There's a foul by Sao on Petrov. With that surprised look on his face, but it was a tackle from the back.
Yep. Easy one for the referee to make. Haven't seen too much of Petrov so far. He's a vital player in the system that Celtic play.
Another set-piece chance for Celtic. Larsson let it go. Tura saw it coming. Duda. Luis Claudio, if he'd got a better touch there and a one-on-one against Mjallby, No free kick. Well, Lambert has it. He's short of options.
He couldn't play forward, bro. Larsson and Hartson were both in an offside position. That's good play from Paul Lambert. Don't want the ball, don't give it away unnecessarily. Showing good experience.
Lambert again dictating the play. Gives it to the feet of Agathe. Now Lennon. An unforced error.
He's not too happy, Neil Lennon. I think he tried to play the ball, looking to play it forward to the strikers. There was just no space. Crowded right that time. He should have went back the way Johan Mjallby was on behind him.
There's a surge of excitement every time the ball is at the feet of Didier Agathe. He can do real damage. Larsson deflected and into the arms of Ricardo.
That's good play from Celtic. He's unfortunate there, Henrik Larsson. Good ball from Agathe. I'm not quite sure if Henrik tried that one. Certainly tried to find Hartson. It's a good deflection back to the keeper.
Pedrosa loses out to Agathe. Celtic fans want him to get motoring down that touchline. One ball from Mjallby. Headed away by Avalos, the Argentinian. Larsson's cross deflected in. Again, it's the Argentinian, Avalos. There was a shriek from behind him because Ricardo wanted them to let it go.
I think the tempo of the game has dropped just a little bit, Rob. I don't think Celtic can let that happen. They've got to try and keep the pace up. They've got to try and put the Portuguese under pressure as much as they can at the back end.
They got off to a great start, Celtic, but not maintaining it at the moment. Hartson to Agathe. What's Martin O'Neill saying, Chick?
It's funny, Rob, he senses the frustration amongst the Celtic fans at the moment. He's turned around to some of the supporters and just asked them to calm down a little bit, be patient. He senses the crowd are getting a little bit rattled with Celtic's reluctance or inability, if you like, to score a goal, but he says calm down, it'll come.
In from Mjallby. The punch from Ricardo, looked as if he was well equipped there to catch it. It's Balde. Free kick given against him.
Don't think that was a free kick. Like Bobo won the ball, stood his ground.
In from Tura, but a poor free kick. Fired that one straight at Paul Lambert. John Hartson keeps it for Neil Lennon. Larsson did so well there to get in front of Martelinho. To do that. And again. One ball from Martelinho. The chase for Luis Claudio. Aaron to Mjallby. Finds Lambert. Now a chance for Agathe to use his pace. Turned away by Ricardo.
That's good play from the goalkeeper, playing the sweeper role there. I tell you, Rob, if it was my goalkeeper, I'd like him to have picked the ball up.
Chick, there's some activity with the assistant down below. What's happening?
Yeah, well, Valgaeren has been called over the touchline. There's blood coming from his finger. It's on his shorts. The linesman, the assistant referee, has attracted the attention of the referee, and he will be treated now by Brian Scott. You can see the pictures there. Brian Scott's had some bandages ready for him when he come across. They'll do that as quickly as they can and get him back on.
Valgaeren's back on. John Hartson rolls it out to Agathe. Back to Mjallby. Early ball in. Hartson was waiting. The referee got in the way there of Boavista. Lambert lofts it forwards. Headed away by Mario Locha.
Better pressure from Celtic. It's so important to keep turning the screw as best they can, keep the ball in the Boavista half.
Erivan for Duda, but Balde was towering over him. Petrov flicked it on, and Thompson tried to get on the end of it. Across comes Joos Valgaeren. On Thompson, the big striker, having failed to get control of it. Boavista beat Maccabi Tel Aviv, Anorthosis of Cyprus, PSG and Hertha Berlin, both on away goals those, and then Malaga on penalties in the quarter-finals on the way to this stage. Defending in numbers, Boavista against Larsson. Lambert chips it over the top for Agathe. And Agathe can't get there before Eder. On Sunday, we're live with Alec McLeish's Rangers at Tannadice, Dundee United Rangers, and all the rest, of course, including Celtic Kilmarnock highlights from 2:40 Sunday. Martelinho, Valgaeren heads it clear. Lennon, Petrov, Lambert, the central midfield three. From Thompson. Boavista will be happy with their containing game, Sandy.
They'll be happy with the score so far, Rob, and I can't help feeling that after 34 minutes of this match, Celtic, they're here for the taking. Boavista. They're not the best team in the world. They're organised, they're decent, but this is a game Celtic are capable of getting a result.
It would help if the referee knew what a penalty was. Much more than 10 minutes away from half-time, and Celtic would love to do something about that blank scoreline. Martelinho from Duda. Claudio's after it. They won't get there. Dianbobo Balde has become such a crucial cog in the Celtic machine since making his European debut in Turin, the match against Juventus. Hartson's flick, and cleared by the masked man, Paulo Tura. Duda stopped in his tracks by Valgaeren. And the Celtic fans go quiet. Boavista will be happy, Sandy.
That's right. So far, Boavista will be delighted with the result.
Larsson. And Thompson. Lambert, there's some space in which he can create something. Works it up for John Hartson. You reckon he was prevented from making a jump for that?
Well, that gamesmanship, I think it was Rob inside the box, but an easy one for the goalkeeper that time. I'm just watching Didier Agathe, Rob. He's had a decent game so far, but I don't think he's obviously not quite 100% fit. Maybe 95%, so I don't think he can really open his legs going down that right hand side the way he normally does. He's just maybe holding back that little bit.
He's won that well, Agathe. Now he opens up. Not too much on the cross beyond John Hartson, and a comfortable take for the Boavista keeper Ricardo. It wasn't what Neil Lennon intended. John Hartson tries to make it work and wins a free kick.
Just a little bit soft that one in John Hartson, but he's not complaining. Just a little nudge in his back as he was trying to control the ball. The better there from the guy down the right hand side. Maybe just trying to prove me wrong. I hope he is.
Boavista are making a habit of upsetting the odds. They won the Portuguese title 2 seasons ago, and emerging from the shadows of the big three in Portugal: Porto, Benfica and Sporting of Lisbon, and reached the second phase of the Champions League last season. They're no mugs. They wouldn't be here if they were. And Thompson taking a lengthy run up. It wasn't the wall of Anfield that time, it stood firm.
Stay.
Petrov to Valgaeren and back. Celtic with a lot of possession, a lot of control. It's searching for the cutting edge, which will get them ahead in this semi-final. Thompson coming in the field to pick up possession. Mjallby, Larsson, very tightly marked. Lambert knocks it over the top, hoping to utilise Agathe's space. Ivan plays it off the Celtic wing back, and Boavista can breathe again.
I think Celtic players are getting just a bit frustrated as well, Rob. I'm watching Alan Thompson at this moment in time. He ended up in the inside right position there. He's playing left wing back, but he wants to get on the ball and wants something to happen.
29 years since Celtic's last European semi-final. That was the European Cup of 1974, when they lost to Atletico Madrid. Never to be forgotten tie, that one, in which the Spanish side had 3 players sent off and 7 booked. It was housey stuff. We're inside the last 6 minutes of the first half. Duda's back heel. Luis Claudio, who put the deck in theatrical style.
He's settling down very easily. Johan Mjallby can't believe it. There's not much in that. There's a bit of body contact, but certainly not enough to knock you over.
The ref's been taken in by the dive.
It's the fact that he's now feeling an injury as well, Rob. That's the bit that disappoints me. You know, there's really nothing there. There's nothing in that at all. A nudge, if anything. You can see the look of surprise in Johan Mjallby's face there.
John Hartson there with a face of disgust, unimpressed by the antics of the Boavista players. Amazingly, they've been given the free kick.
It's not nice when that happens.
So important that Celtic stay switched on in these closing stages of the first half, having had so much of the game. Duda. A challenge from Agathe. Celtic's throw.
That's better refereeing.
Balde and Mjallby weren't quite sure there who was going to take that. Paulo Tura. Valgaeren's challenge penalised. Jimmy Pacheco played for Porto, played for Portugal as well in the '86 World Cup finals, and he was in the Porto team that beat Aberdeen on the way to the European Cup Winners' Cup final of '84. It was Balde doing the defending, and kept in just by Agathe. They were surely being held.
Even he can't complain about that one. I think when your team try to corner the referee the way that the Portuguese have at times tonight, you're going to get a lot of decisions going against you because of that. The referee's only human. They get their own back in different ways.
Ahead of John Hartson. Laid back by Larsson. Good pace on the pass for Thompson. But that was fairly aimless. Celtic got it back though with Lambert. Mjallby. Larsson again. Agathe. Gets it away, and again, for the third time in the first half, Celtic are screaming for a penalty.
I don't think this is one, to be honest with you. Just the fact he's got his arms up, he doesn't touch the ball with his arms that time.
Yeah, it was the chest that time.
I think the fans are just frustrated, Rob, because the previous two, for me, they were penalty kicks. I think at half-time, Rob McNeil's got a bit of work to do. I haven't seen too much at all from Alan Thompson down wide in the left-hand side. He always wants to go inside. And Stilian Petrov's been a disappointment for me as well. He has to try and find the space beyond the back three. And that just hasn't happened.
Balde's header deflected into the path of Erivan. Now Luis Claudio. That's well won by Neil Lennon. Great challenge. Does that so well. The Celtic supporters calling for more urgency from their team. Lennon to Hartson. Tura. And Erivan. Mjallby beat Duda. Agathe. Trying to play that one down the line for Petrov. It's spun out of Mario Lusha. John Hartson gets to the byline and wins a corner kick. And a late first half chance for Celtic to apply some pressure.
They've got to get all the big guys up this time. Bobo Balde, Johan Mjallby. Let's see if Celtic can get a breakthrough before half time. Great time to get a goal.
Thompson's corner. Erivan headed it clear. Back from Agathe to Thompson. Trusty left foot. Good delivery. Flicked off Henrik Larsson by the looks of it. But it's spun over the crossbar.
I love Henrik Larsson. Good ball in from Thompson. Henrik just trying a little flick, trying to get it on target, but back to goal. It's so difficult. But how many times have we seen that man stick in the back of the net from that kind of situation?
.45 minutes played. Celtic 0, Boavista 0. And Celtic will feel they have to start all over again in the second half.
A bit disappointed in front. The penalty kicks are certainly a point of contention. But Boavista, they're well organised, that's the best I would say about them. It takes a little bit of creativity, a little bit of magic to break through that type of defence. Celtic are more than capable of producing that. Hopefully we'll get it second half, if not before.
Larsson hooks in the cross. Ricardo's under pressure and he's helped out by Martelinho. Celtic want to get it back in the box. Thompson and Lennon. Not the delivery that's going to ask too many serious questions of Boavista.
Not the best of balls from Neil Lennon.
Half time at Celtic Park and no way through for John Hartson and company. There's been a fair bit of possession, a lot of possession, a lot of pressure. Not too many clear-cut goal-scoring chances, but there have been a couple of rock-solid looking penalty claims which have been turned down by Frank de Blekere, the Belgian referee. This was the first one, a clear handball for Amunan Sisao, and there was the second claim for handball in the penalty box. Henrik Larsson was screaming at the referee. He turned away and said, play on. It's 0-0 at half-time in this UEFA Cup semi-final.
And it's all terribly frustrating, really, isn't it? No goals, frankly, not really very much approaching a goal, and Celtic, with the bulk of the possession, unable to break through. And I suppose, Gordon, Boavista living up to their billing. They're a big, physical, spoiling, organised side without very much creativity.
That's exactly what they are. They're a hard-working side. Tremendous work rate to try and close Celtic down. Celtic started well. They looked as if they're going to get a bit of success. We're playing it up early to John Hartson. He was causing them problems, but they were fouling him initially because they couldn't cope with him. But Celtic's delivery has dried up too. I've seen very little of Petrov coming out the midfield. I don't think he's hardly had 2 or 3 touches in the game, and the crossing's not been good enough when they've got into wide areas, but they're stopping a lot of the crosses coming in, and that work rate and that organisation, that system they've got, has stopped Celtic playing as the first half's worn on. It became more and more frustrating for them. But I think Boavista were exactly what you said. They were just a well-organised team. They don't look like a typical continental side, not even a typical Portuguese side, where they've got a lot of technique and flair and all that. They haven't got those sort of things, but obviously they do well in what they've done. They're not having a good season this season in the league, but they've obviously got what they've got because of the organisation, the amount of work they put in.
And from what we hear, that's exactly how they've got to this semi-final, Paul. So Celtic need a little bit of magic, a little bit of creativity to unlock the door, really, don't they?
Absolutely, just need a bit more variation in their game. I mean, Boavista playing the same tactical situation as Celtic, 3-5-2. That's why the wide men are getting very frustrated. 5 across the midfield, and they're doubling up extremely well. Boavista, fit, organised, very athletic, tremendous work ethic, hunting in packs against Celtic all over the pitch. Technically not in the same street as Celtic, but I think Petrov now, when you get a team and they're playing exactly the same way, you have to find something, a little bit of improvisation. Petrov, I think, has got to lose his marker. You need a midfield man to break forward, create some space, because I sense that if Celtic can find that kind of bit of killer pass, a little bit of quality, just in that final delivery in the final third, that might just unlock Boavista's rearguard.
Early on, John Hartson was a massive influence, as he has become increasingly.
Well, we said he's grown in stature. I think it was played 3 games in the first 3 months, terribly frustrated, but he has grown and grown in stature. Looks a very accomplished player. Wonderful set-up play here. I mean, started extremely well. Looking to link up, good give and go. Wonderful pass there, just a little bit more on it. But I mean, here, lovely cushioned header. Setting up the play, keeping possession, look very calm, very composed, head up, look around, look what's going on, trying to link up play with Larsson. Unfortunately, just overhits it too much and put too much on it for Petrov.
I'm not trying to influence man of the match so far, but I think John Hartson has been without doubt Celtic's best player. This was a great ball as well.
Oh,
it was very
delightful, wasn't it, Gordon?
Yeah, terrific.
The subtlety, isn't it? The appreciation of the final ball.
Absolutely, it's just a perfectly weighted pass as well, just into the path. I think the keeper does really well, because if he doesn't come out there, and he also did it 1 or 2 other occasions, the goalkeeper came all the way. He also stopped a pass from Lambert that was going to Agathe as well. Tremendous play.
Yeah. The 2 penalty claims are perhaps the biggest talking point of the first half, aren't they? And certainly the first one looked absolutely clear-cut. The second one you've seen given as well, haven't you?
I've seen them given, but I think the first one was the best one. I think if you're going to get a penalty kick, then, and what shocked me with this one was the referee is looking at it. Paul Lambert, lovely little touch. Agathe does really well, and you can see that looks deliberate to me. And the referee is not unsighted. You'll see a one angle.
Nobody in between the referee and the incident?
No.
Clear view of it.
Yeah, and you just see here, he just makes sure he turns. It looks as if he's going to lose possession, and he just puts his hand in there and knocks it away. And there's a referee. Look at his position there. How can he miss it?
And well, we hope that Celtic don't live to regret that very bad decision by the referee. It can be nothing else. What about this one, Paul?
I'm not so sure. Yeah, I mean, end of the day, you've got to decide: is it ball to hand? Is it hand to ball? Is it deliberate? I mean, I don't think that's deliberate. And I think it's actually ball to hand. As you can see there, I don't think there was no deliberate intent, but nevertheless, you've got to look at the referee's position. It's completely in line with it again, and one might say he's on top of it. No, he's definitely in line with it.
Yeah, it kind of sums up the first half goal when you start looking at penalties you didn't get, start clutching at straws almost. Because
it's another way of scoring a goal, but I have to say that would be Celtic's best bet at getting a goal, considering their first half play, because it just it lost its edge. It just wasn't fluent enough, and they've struggled to create good openings.
Yeah. Boavista haven't threatened very much up front, but Duda is something they're going to have to keep an eye on, obviously. He's had one kind of reasonable shot so far.
I mean, it's probably the most productive movement. I mean, Erevan goes directly towards Mjallby, forcing him back, comes inside, little cut back, set up play by Claudio, and Duda comes straight onto it, blocks it, but, other than that, that's probably the real potent threat which has come down the left-hand side. Decent little cut back. There I was looking for a marker, got to come out and close the space down, and he does that well, Balde. But other than that, they've had a few little wild swings. In possession, they're technically, I don't think they're a particularly good side. Their emphasis is on their hard work, their strength, their physical capability. That's where they've been influential, and clearly, they'll be delighted at half time.
Better scoreline at the moment for Boavista. Celtic's midfield, as we know, relies very much on Petrov as the creative force. Lennon and Lambert are the sitters, and therefore there's a big responsibility on him in the second half, and also on the wide men, Gordon.
There's a responsibility. The wide men are getting shut down. That's the hardest thing. I'll give them the credit that Agathe is finding it very difficult to get crossing positions, and most of the time he's having to cut inside. They're stopping Thompson playing the other side. They've obviously looked at Celtic. They've considered how the Celtic play. They like to get the ball wide and cross balls in, and that's been the problem that Celtic have had. They've not been able to get the delivery, and when the opportunities they've had to cross the ball in, the crosses haven't been good enough either. But Petrov has got to come into the game a bit more. He's got to go and support his front man. He's got to go up beside them, and he's got to run beyond them and make himself a danger.
There's more movement, Gordon, isn't it? His all-round game is too static.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's not the first half we were hoping for, but better things ahead, hopefully, in the second 45. We're now going to change channels, so make sure that you're with us in just a few seconds' time over on BBC Two. We'll carry on talking through the events of the first 45 minutes at Celtic Park tonight, with, of course, live coverage to come of the second 45.